Hey everyone, we'll be starting momentarily, getting everything set up, and then we'll be good to go. Hey, Raphotron. You're here early, welcome. Well, early for the stream, I mean. Okay, post it there. That's all done. I can close that. Turn up there. Connection seems good. Everything seems to be fine, so we can go. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another stream of Apollo Justice. Yeah! Because last time we had played this. Usually I would be playing my other game, which would have been Halo 2 today, but seeing as I finished it on Tuesday, I was debating whether to continue with this or start Halo 3. I have a more hankering for Apollo Justice for today because, you know, I want to play more. So we're going to be playing more today. This is not going to be like a recurrent thing. This is usually just going to happen when I've finished a game or something. I have to decide whether I do the next one or not. But yeah, I need to like get stuff set up for the other one. So I'd rather just have something that I have ready to go rather than something I have to set up. So that's what we're doing it today. So last time in Apollo Justice, we had started investigating into the case of the mysterious Tenma Taro and escaping his imprisonment inside a mansion, sort of. And we had to find out what happened, investigate if, what's his name? The mayor of Tenma Vale or Tenma Village or whatever it was called was the one behind it. And he kind of seems like he didn't do it, but it seems quite obvious that it's the guy who is refusing to answer any questions, seems to be forcing Raccoon Man to do stuff, and Apollo is a demon. Yeah. Also, this is the first time we get to meet Athena, kind of chronologically, I mean. So yeah, we're now about to start the trial, so let us see what we got to do against this new guy called Blackwell or whatever. So without further ado, let us go. Ba, 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 bum, ba. Get on there. Have a hankering for Apollo. No. Athena. Yeah. Okay, showing up on there. Is sound being picked up? Yes. Oh. 209. One needs a Tanuki second. He was in the intro. Yeah, that guy. April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court. Defendant. Lobby number 3. Hi again. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case after all. Yeah, real ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. Athena! Did you ever learn that about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting "I'm fine" in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Chords of Steel voice workout, and I must before every trial. You want me to shout? Here? That's right, here. I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine! Alright, I'm Athena Sykes. And I'm fine! Huh. I think that actually worked. I thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. I see. Proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. What's the other racket, you two? Ah, Mr. Wright. Just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. You know, just a no biggie thing. That's all? That's huge news. Well, why now? I have a feeling I'll need it. I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. Foreshadowing to the first case. We can talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds wants to know. Oh, wow. 3D... Oh! 3D... Hobo Phoenix. Wow, okay. Why am I watching this on 5 separate screens? Because you want to watch from 5 different perspectives? I don't know, but thanks. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. And having a stubble. That suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? And none of them are in sync. Maybe they're busted? Yeah, he's serving time, but before that, he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology. That's right. I heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. I've been hearing a lot about that lately. So he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. I knew he was going to be bad news. Does this count as multiple viewers? Is it on your end? Well, I have 4 viewers right now. I don't know if that's you or what, but... 4 is the most I've seen. So welcome. Probably just hyperbole. At least I hope you for your sake. Wait, so it's true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head on your shoulder attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes! But the tone bound my Chords of Steel too. So are you all ready? Might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Okay. Taro foolishly choose to depict the demon accursed. The Temataro warding charm that Jinxie gave me when I set out for the same crime. Flower found only in Ninetales Vale. It boosts Jinxie's courage because it was her mother's favorite. Newspaper with a photo. Diagram showing the sea. Oh, excuse me. Diagram of the foyer. Statue of the crime scene depicts Temataro and the nine-tailed fox in battle. Photo of the fox chamber. I didn't actually look at this. Wait. Wasn't the body a different way around, or was it the spear? I think the spear was taken out. Okay. Mass found washed up by the riverside. Photo of the hero who sparked the monster craze. Eyewitness account of the demon in the hallway near the crime scene. Passed each other at a bend in the hall as to made for the foyer. Carrying a staff-like implement that jingled. Couldn't help but call for help because there was no one else in the hall. Okay. Filch's TV program guide. The afternoon wrestling match was a total disaster. Okay. Right, Mr. Wright, but I'm fine. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks! Okay, let's do this. The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client. Seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice. April 18th, 9:30 a.m. I wish it was a little bit faster. It's too slow. I've said that before, but it will always be a problem for me. Number 4. Court is now in session. All rise. Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice Defense Team Leader is ready, Your Honor. Sounds like he's a Power Ranger. I'd know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? Who's the young lady next to you? Amethyta Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner and fresh out of law school. Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet. Never fear, for I shall explain. It is just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time. Cutscene time. I get to drink.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwill's an inmate.
You can see how much blood they added in this game. Like, compared to the other ones. There was blood in other games, but this is like a lot.
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
I don't know why, but the way that his eyes look make me think he's from a Yu-Gi-Oh game or series. He's so cool. Who's that with his back to us over there? That's him, I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwill. Is the prosecution ready? I'm gonna have to do a cool voice. I'm not good at those. Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. Of course, forgive me. Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well, Prosecutor Blackwill, your opening statement, if you please. What's the matter? I don't notice that he addresses people incorrectly. You must continue to fritter away time like this. It is all right there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? Well... Set the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor has to judge his tongue. But we need an opening statement for an overview of the case at hand. Huh. Very well then, your boldness. If it is so very important, why don't you do the honors? Who, me? There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things. And then decide they no longer want them in once it's theirs. Selfish old fool. Huh? Wait, was that the prosecution opening statement? Old daughters such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity you, your poor grandchildren, or is it great-grandchildren? All these years I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace. What? He actually fell for that? That must have been a power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. The opening statement. Let's see here. The victim was one Rex QB, an alderman of Ninetails Vale. And the defendant, Damien Tenma, mayor of Tenma is accused of his murder. Why, pray tell, was the murderer arrested? Or the mayor? He's the murderer, whatever. His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus he had motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. and his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Ho ho ho. Flattery will get you everywhere. Playing Simon Says with the judge. Moving right along now, let's hear from the first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. No, he is the first person. Okay, never mind. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I've upgraded to 7, jeez. I'm Detective Fulbright assigned to this case. Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I also keep tabs on old Blackwell here. I also heard that you would provide protection if it ever came to that. Huh. It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? I still truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Blackwell here. Ooh, Bright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. Ha 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 ha! That's the spirit! Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Oh, well that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious. Now, let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright. You got it! But first I'd like to say the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Witness testimony. Alderman Cubey was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant Damien Tenma were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Cubey was sleeping, or was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked this helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Alderman Cubey had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug? That's right! The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Around 3:20 p.m., the victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. And the victim managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him. Just because you're a pro wrestler does not make you immune to normal weapons.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. Still seems a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps you should test the theory on which is the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this. The chains stop you. Huh. So your life is spared. For now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. If they were made out of titanium, they'd be freaking expensive. Ha ha ha! My investigations are as thorough as the name. They are foolproof. Or my name isn't Fulbright. I vowed to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he was the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree, your baldness? The defense is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict? And the trial's just barely begun. Huh. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the murderer for the purpose of freeing Temataro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no other real reason to show interest in that backward bird. perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. That mayor's a strange one, all right. I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. That makes... okay. Order, there'll be no gossiping in my court. For baldness, please take a grand gander at those charms blasted across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possessions by the demon Temataro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold, the lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment.
Hold it!
The rumors and quirks of Mayor Temmer have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think. Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? Damn right they don't. The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadly fearsome lass we have here. Oh, thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo, he has the judge dancing on the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impression to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than this statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Two yokai, to be exact. One side is the nine-tailed fox, and the other, Temataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though the very case were rendered in art. No print. Why am I saying prints? There's no F anywhere in this. Probably because of the fox part. It froze when it... it's just perfect timing. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Hold it!
So, those weapons on the wall of the Fox chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous? No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it to be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. What? It's got to be an old wise tale. I love how Athena is always seconds away from cursing someone. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to be playing her like that. She's just like, you motherfucker. And stuff like that. The alderman had pure honorary justice flowing through his veins. Whatever he did it right. We've lost a real champion of justice in his death. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash, if you ask me. No, stop your bleating and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command.
Hold it!
It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prince could be easily wiped off. You do have a point there. I'd venture to say he did not wipe off the prince because he could not. What do you mean? The fact that he pokes himself so hard like that makes me feel like he's just poking himself in the eye. Looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there. Show this motherfucker who's boss. I'm totally lost. So why don't you just tell me the answer already? I don't think you saw that plea for help. You feeling all right, kid? Running a high fever, perhaps? I wish trials came with a reset button. They do, so it's called loading and saving. Well, the specifics may yet come to light. Please proceed, Protective Fulbright. That rhymed.
Hold it!
Come to think of it, the coffee cup was found on the floor. Was it the sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup. And that is why he was out cold. That is until he leapt into his feet upon being impaled by the mare. What an awful way to wake up. Yeah, I will say, there are times where I'm like worried someone's going to be stabbing me as I sleep, and then I wake up mid-stab, and then I kick their butt, and then I die. I have weird thoughts. Rather stimulating eye-opener if you ask me. I too would have risen to the attack, fought to die in battle as the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would have made Iken a challenge. Prosecutor Blackwell, please! These mama jokes of yours have no place in this court. Huh, says the jester and detectives, guys. Moving right along.
Hold it!
So the alderman was drunk because he was really strong? Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? Hey, Swordmaster. Welcome. I'm surprised the spear even managed to pierce that armor-like musculature. I admit I'm completely jealous of that righteous bodies of his. Ha 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 ha. Well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on. Quite a difference when compared with a yellow belly like you. Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and the color's all wrong, too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato? I'd move to strike both of your comments from the record. Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now let's get back to what happened after the more muscular alderman was impaled. Well, yes, well, the average person would likely have died on the spot.
Hold it!
Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with that huge spear? Absolutely! After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged and speared, was answered with a righteous counterattack. But does being a former pro wrestler make you superhuman? Absolutely! After all, he was the one of the good guys, like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need.
Objection!
You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about real life here. Setting aside the half-wit's flight of fancy, the fact is this. The court-ordered post-mortem concluded the victim moved after his skewering. So he found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. Now he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Shish kebab. Sudden pain jolted the victim awake. For some reason I thought the spear was higher where his heart would be, but it's lower, so that would be in his gut or his stomach. Surely if he had stood up and went over to walk this guy, there'd be blood over here too. No prints could be lifted. What does the picture show? He isn't wearing gloves, so he should have prints. Maybe that's it? Maybe look at this picture again. Bilch. Go to the Fox Chamber. I wish to present.
Objection!
I was right. Okay. Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him. But the statue supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the defective statue theory. There are no fingerprints. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. If you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe he's quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? This can't be happening! Did I arrest the wrong man? You did it, Apollo. You're not Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? It's not as hard as I want it to go this song, but it's still good. Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed him. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox Chamber? Exactly. And this could be the big break we've been looking for. We've just started, Apollo. You should know that you shouldn't get your hopes up yet. There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion? No. Huh. The least you could do is look at me while you're being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono. Justice Dono? You're watching too many samurai flicks. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell. Huh. There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? Hold your mind, boy. Why was there no blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion. Now let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used to wrap the statue? Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue around the cloth. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor. Precisely. Bully for you, boy. It was nothing. It was nothing. Oh. Brody Cloth and Claw, 90% of these cases rely on third parties being present. Yeah, the title is what I meant by improper address. Ah, okay. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? I did? Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is as plain as day. But this would also prove that there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. Oops. Fox and Demon statue updated for the second time. Why is there 2 pages? Now do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particular frightening inmate once told me that. He always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. Samurai? Sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? seemed the victim and his killer were the ones who were there after all. I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on their statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Huh. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right, you son of a bitch. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers on tracks allegedly from a yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue. Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed the alderman? That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Sorry. Guess I got carried away. Mr. Justice, we have no time to deal with objections between members of the defense. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just this kid's still, well, a kid. Ow, you meanie! I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from the yokai, as you put it? No, Your Honor. I believe they're a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some kind of monster murdered the alderman. Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that? Why indeed? Mr. Justice, you seem as new as this to your partner as... What? You seem as new to this as your partner is. Ouch. This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. Hoy, Fulbright, explain to this boldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind these feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that? Ha ha ha! Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Very well, let's hear these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. Give me the info. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Timber panicked when the amazing Ninetails helped embolden the protesters. So he stoked the village's fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. Those feathers and tracks stoked the village's fears? Absolutely, he knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenmataro, that is. Tenma who? Tenmataro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chambers. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black feathered demon, and thus were they blinded to other more plausible explanations.
Hold it!
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at QB Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenmataro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murderer to be the work of the real Tenmataro. However, the police believe that the person in Tenmataro's suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman, and thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
In fact, I do. The evidence speaks for itself, Bright. Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice. But do people of Ninetales Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds. Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. You actually felt sorry for someone? Are you human? Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well, now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. I don't know what a cross-examination is, but yeah.
Hold it!
Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costumes starting down with Mayor Tenma. Wow, big extreme. And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. Huh. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai no match for Tenma Taro, the dark lord of their kind. Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenma Taro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy. Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act?
Hold it!
Amazing Ninetales. No one knows his true identity, right? That's right! And he was a lone wolf, or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew, he was champion. Like the Yat Samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town's pro wrestling. He was amazing! If he ever was a real superhero, it would be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday. I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. You could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell. Police detective and a prisoner in chains. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I think I would. So you do understand the greatness that is the amazing Ninetales.
Hold it!
Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? Absolutely! It had an immediate effect! The presumed return of the dreaded Tenma Taro has them shaking in their boots. Oh my, is it really that bad? Superstitious lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. Now that is a statement, because Jack the Ripper was actually kind of bad back in those days. That... An actual killer versus something that isn't real. Yeah. The mere thought of that demon lurking about enough is to spark Mac's exodus. I see. That's a very persuasive argument. The mere thought of his honor buying into the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now. So you see, there can be only one reason that anyone, or why anyone would plant those feathers and tracks.
Hold it!
But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with a murder? Huh? What do you mean? You claim a client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the village's fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder the Alderman Cuby? Excellent point. It isn't. It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor agrees that there's no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was a spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. What are these hiccups? Startling discovery? I don't like the sound of that. Alderman Cuby's secret identity. Hello. I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good. This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. How would you find that if we picked this up and put it back onto the mask? It's from the mask worn by the amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. It was in the 1880s, right? It was during the Victorian times. I think it was around then. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but I know it was at least in the 1800s. Yeah, 1880s. 1888. It was like the tail end of the 80s. Or the 1800s. Yeah. That's what I was agreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. It would be in the Victorian era, which is the 1800s. So, yeah, you're right. Therefore, we conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my. But why would it have been there? The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Well, could it really be? Your boldness has an epiphany, I see. Our victim Rex Cuby was the amazing Ninetales. And the mayor's discovery of this fact was motive for murder. No! Sit up straight, you got a hunchback. Order! What a shocking development. A motive clearer than crystal clear. What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your boldness? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona. Just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement. Very astute of your boldness. Right, now take a look at this! Oh, just a random blackmail letter. If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetales Vale with Tenma The blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket. What? At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence that the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life. Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to the Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder? And planted it into the Alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof of that. That's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Blackmail letter added to the letter. Shut up, me. Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he had left just after he planted the yokai things. But he was knocked out cold by his sudden delusion or decision to kill the amazing Ninetales. So it was the amazing Ninetales counter-offer that brought the entire crime to light. Wait a sec. Albright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence. And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that. Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers and tracks. Well, how would he would have done that and not have any of the stuff on him?
Hold it!
So let me get this straight. You believe that Mayor Tenma planted the yokai evidence before the murder, not after? Absolutely. And then he was knocked out cold by the alderman's last punch. He wouldn't have had a chance to plant the evidence after that. Something's not right here. Hard to believe that a stiff, humorless man like the mayor could be behind such a stunt. We have to do something, Apollo, before they pin it all on the mayor. Then we're going to need to prove that Mayor Tenma didn't plant the yokai stuff. How are we supposed to do that? By lying. Okay. You can tell because there's no blood on the feathers. If it was planted before, when he stabbed him, all the blood would be on the guy. Or it would be on the feathers, but there isn't any.
Objection!
The good thing they didn't, because if they did, I would be colorblind to it. Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What is this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. This is the crime scene photo. And just what does this prove? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear feathers and tracks were left after the scene.
Take that!
Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice? Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood? And the tracks were made in blood. In other words, the yokai evidence would only resulted after the murder. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. Yet you just said that was impossible. But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant the evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene. Ah, there must be some mistake. Order! Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I believe I have an eyewitness testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just a half-baked? It's taking this really hard. Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's a sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness Jinxie Tenma saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. It is the source of those feathers and tracks. Somebody please say something? The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare mock this court and justice itself? You aren't fit to bear your name, boy! The boldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Hold it!
Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should be stepped down, please, hear me out. Or be like, hear me out? Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears, but you better have it better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in this statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came round the corner in the hall. It was around here. Then, that's when she saw Tenma Taro fleeing towards the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the someone who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? The defense has proved there was someone else, so the mayor isn't the killer. Was it all a setup? The prosecutor is convicted felon after all. Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor. Good. Let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Or not. Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle? Now that you mention it, both Phineas Filch and Florence LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Why didn't those two see the Temataro impersonator pass by? Because they're lying. They were quite obviously lying. Justice is blind. Literally. Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Miss Phineas Filch, caretaker of the QB manager, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore the fact the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. Huh. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know. Very well then. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand. Oh, sorry about that. I drank too much water and breathed at the same time. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please? Name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of the QB Manor. Oh, and this is for your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like. Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch. It's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Fitch stole them again. I'm all yours, your honor, sir. What? But they seem awfully expensive. Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship. It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I cannot accept these gifts. Ah, ethics, methics. Just take them if you want them. Polished them up real nice for you, too. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Temataro in the foyer after the murder. At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch of the murder, what happened after 3 p.m. But I hadn't seen nothing out of the ordinary, no siree. That joker you keep jabbering on about was a phantom of a little girl's dreams. So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Temataro? Yep, was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth, nothing but the truth. Temataro? Bah, you don't really believe in that yokai mumbo jumbo, do ya? I certainly don't. My heart. I'm having a heart attack again. My bracelet, it's... Something the matter, Apollo? The bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell. Some sort of nervous habit. Ah! What in the... What's a hawk doing in here? Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seemed to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact. He doesn't live with you, you know, in jail. Whoever's heard of a courthouse bird? Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seemed to have offended my dear bosom buzzard. Is this some sort of trick or... Ah! Over the spot squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Somebody help! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save you when truly famished. If that's the case, Prosecutor Blackwell, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. Take away the main aspect of Apollo. Sure. If there was someone dressed as Tematara, that Filch would have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination. Guard in the foyer.
Hold it!
Mr. Filch, why did Alderman QB have you handle guard duty? Does he trust me? I am the mayor's caretaker after all. You took said guard duty seriously? Let me tell you something about me. I'm... Yipes! Listen here, you little tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't do. See in the foyer, naught else. Yes, of course, sir. Right away, sir. Blackwell's got him completely under his thumb. Like I said, I was guarding the foyer entrance that day.
Hold it!
So no one could get to it. Sounds like security was pretty tight. That's because there's always lots of sneaks and thieves around festival time. And the solution was to entrust the manor's security to a thief? That's not even funny. It's a matter of stopping thieves by hiring one. After all, it takes one to know one. I don't know, it seems more like letting the fox guard the hen house to me. So the witness testifies that he took the guard duty seriously. Yes, sir, your honorship, sir. Time was the thing? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were.
Objection!
Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fella like that. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss. I didn't watch that one, no siree. I was doing my job like I'm supposed to. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yikes! Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." So, do you admit to slacking off? You can't trick me with your ruddy poo lawyer talk. I'm one of the professional types, you know? I could do double duty, watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief. Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off. That's correct. Well, that's true then. It does look like he would slack off. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bold-faced lie. Bold, you say? But I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV in the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it.
Take that!
There you go, it's the picture. Please take a look at the direction of the TV is facing in the diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time. Why, yes, someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance. Exactly, and that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim. Yipes! The cat's out of the bag, or the bag's out of the cat, or the other way around. Order. Like, he got it wrong by saying it the wrong way, and I got it wrong by saying it the correct way. But Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's less than stellar work ethic relevant to this case? It's very relevant because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Tematara impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? This. Another mind reader? Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but the ears were still hard at work, right, Tanuki? They were? Yes, they were. But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't? My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see the foyer floor and the stairway get all creaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon. So you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? Yep, my ears are working full time, so who's the liar now? No good shyster. A lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career. Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackwell, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And then the bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Tucker's particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu. Ah! Please don't eat me, Mr. Tucker, sir. The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. This just made me miss Francisca because she could just whip them. Oh well. With that in mind, the court requests the witness revise his testimony accordingly. Give me the next one. Here's working overtime. It's true. I've been watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might be slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there weren't no Temataro in the foyer. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai demons and such. We must use common sense, for lacking that, our entire world will be put upside down. Says the convict prosecutor who is totally a sign of the end times for the legal world. Besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and set them in the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. It seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. When we can't prove she saw Tematara, the mayor's sure to be convicted. We better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Cross-examination.
Hold it!
You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job? It ain't easy being me. I mean, I can watch TV when we have visitors, and there's no way to record stuff. Sorry, am I supposed to be counseling you over your first world problems? If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky. I guess pro wrestling's serious business off to watch Mr. Filch. And I just messed up that whole line.
Hold it!
You lied earlier about taking your guard duty seriously, didn't you? Oh, well, that ain't no harm in bending the truth a little, right? Listen to me, you little tanuki. Lie again and Taka shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours. Yipes! Sorry, just let me keep my tongue. At least leave it until we get the truth out of him in any case. You were negligent in your duties, were you not? Yes, sir, I was, sir, but it ain't like that.
Hold it!
So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing up to hear a creaky floor. Plus, that Tematara makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle. Jingle jangle? How does he do that? It's that staff of his. That's what jingle jangles. What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, I guess Tematara has a staff that makes noise. Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said she saw Tematara holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound. Guess that's the source of the noise then. Which doesn't make sense because he doesn't have one. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Tematara jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Yes, because that means he's from the Wild West. I'm just quickly checking things. How long have we been going for? Hour and 30 minutes? Okay. They'll be going longer for some reason. Very important. Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. If Tematara was to pass by, staff would have gone jingle jangle.
Objection!
Tematara's staff would have made a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story doesn't add up. Is there something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say you didn't see Tematara on the day of the incident. Why then do you assume just now that Tematara would be holding a staff? Huh? You see, the Tematara Jinx he saw held a staff in his hand. She described it sounds just like you did. Just like you did. As a kind of jangly sound. Yeah, so he was on the staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tematara doesn't use a staff, not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Tematara. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? You're right, there's no staff, not even a cane or a walking stick. Ah! So the question is, why does the witness think Tematara uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution case on the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. Alright, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tematara carried a staff. Filch is a scatterbrain! Mr. Filch actually saw Tematara right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff. Busted again! Bloody hell, you duplicitous little... Yeah, how do you like that feel, Black Will? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tematara that day, didn't you? Well? I'm begging you, please don't make me say it. But clearly you did see Tematara, because then you wouldn't want to say it. Stop stalling and testify to that fact. No can do, no way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be. He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tematara, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come to think of it, there was this weird moment when they were talking. They say you must not gaze upon the Tenmataro, but in the event that you do, look. And then tell anyone what you saw, Tenmataro will claim your soul. She wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmataro after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone that she had seen Tenmataro, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too? So Mr. Big Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about him? Hey, old village superstitions? Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Ninetails Vale believe some kind of pretty strange things. And the superstitions may be the reason our witness can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro. Darn straight, that's why! It's all right here in this book that I have, conveniently in my pocket. Do not gaze upon Tenmataro. Do not tell others you see him. Ignoring the superstition will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring you ruin upon the village. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. See? That's why us folks in Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmataro. That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They knew that way they could have talked. They could talk about him without being blah blah blah. I actually pressed the button, so it was as if it never existed. The defense hold that Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer. What? He has to stand on an orange.
Objection!
Superstitious, as you say. What kind of fool would actually believe such rubbish? The village? They're all fools. What do you expect? And would that using some silly fairy tale could so easily expose the culprit? You need to come up with a more rational, common sense explanation than that.
Objection!
But common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
Did you just insult me? Try living in my world over narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
While the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale, a life or death superstition might even make you a believer. My finger point. Order, I say. You fool of a Tanuki. 2 times now, you lies have cost me. Sorry, I promise not to do it again. Talk to my fight-brother friend. Have at him. Yikes, he's gonna eat me alive. Head for the hills. He took off. Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him, and with your fastest men. That's certainly not something you see every day. Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third-party disguised as the yokai Tenmataro was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? That's a long pause. Oh, okay. Oh. What? Oh. Ah! His shackles. I'm too young to die. Justice Dono, long has it been since I have been forced to draw my blade. You had best say your prayers. Eat. He doesn't even have a sword. He just uses his hand. Detective, do something. Ha 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 ha! Have no fear, Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
Objection!
Then get going already before he kills us. Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackwell, for it is his sense of justice that sets him free. Objection, objection. I object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice.
Silence!
Huh. I'm not in the habit of coming down unarmed cowards. Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, can I ask you to, I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenma is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Right. And that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Cuby. This part was fun. Yeah.
Silence!
Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai from there in the Fox Chamber? What? He's right. She said nothing about Temataro being in the Fox Chamber. Huh. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door. Your point is? Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewered murder victim, the alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor. No, there must have been someone dressed up like Tenma. Then, why does that little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber? Huh. Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would mention any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she just see Temataro inside the Fox Chamber? Because he wasn't there. He was probably hiding somewhere, maybe in the vent or in the room. Although you didn't see the cutscene at the start, so... There's but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Kemba whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last it shall be sated. Wait, this is still a trial, right? Show me what you're truly capable of. Justice Dono. Just punch the bird. Very well. Both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess? Just so. Plenty of time for if your destination of intent is the loo. Not really. You get to the loo, and then the time's up. Need more than 3 minutes to pee. The loo? You mean the bathroom? Sheesh. At least include enough time to wash your hands. I see that you make no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins. I declare Prosecutor Blackwell the winner of the round of Simon Says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? Oh, yeah. April 18th, 10:40 a.m., District Court. Better not be free, or whatever it was. Yeah. He busted out of his shackles. Yeah, what was that all about? Guess they don't make shackles like they used to. Or he's that strong. Better be careful, Apollo. You really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tematara impersonator on the manor. And what's with that guy with the whole samurai act anyway? Such fine swordsmanship. There is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jail prosecutor to a duel. No, wait. Let's save the dueling till after we prove your innocence. Suppose I could wait until later. Why does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up. Oh, what Blackwell said, Apollo, don't be late. And then get knocked out. April 18th, 10:43 a.m. Or number 5. Or 4, whatever. Now then, I believe our net witness is Jinxie Temmer made at QB Manor. I believe we proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is. How do you say this? Nurairion? Leader of the 100 demons, he really does exist. Oh, that is one well-polished tray. The witness will show her face while in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child? Begone, Nahurayon, leader of the 100 demons. Ho ho, you think I'm a yokai? Well, I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts. The beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will. My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? I'm sure I can see that one. Now you're in scam. Yes? I trust you know why you're here. Bags. Bags? Oh, that tricksy Tanuki. Try the newsstand and go enjoy a big bowl of Tanuki Tales news while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian. No, I mean your bags. The ones under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this child will keep Azukirai. Oh, fuck. Azukirai! Azukirai? Yokai that washes Azuki beans? The only thing that needs washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off. Azuki Kirai often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore. Is that so? Well, thank you. Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell's got more than he bargained for. Why is she the only one that actually treats him like a person? Everyone else is like, oh, I'm scared. She doesn't care. It's the normal people she's afraid of. They're bad enough alone, but together, those two are just plain creepy. Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene. Although, to be fair, they probably would get along pretty well. Did I see Tenma Taro in the Fox Chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw. Yes, now I remember. Yokai. Right there in that room. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-huh. Lots and lots of them. Wait, more than one? Did Tenma Taro happen to be among them? I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming with yokai. Kasha, Nurikabe, Seto Taisho. Stop throwing Japanese words at me. They make me angry. They were all there. Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have had this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony.
Hold it!
Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. You might want to do that a bit differently. It's just like, just give her some therapy. It'll be fine. Let's just put this whole trial on hold. I'll take her to a room, put her in a chair. We can have a talk, spend the rest of the day talking or whatever, unless we have run out of time. And then I can send her back. With the court's permission, of course. What a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. Sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have had her dazed and confused. A regular bore of confusion. My analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? Her. It makes no difference. To me? Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She'd be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land. Huh. I'll show you. That face is cool. I just like that face that she made. Whee! Did I see Tembataro in the fox chamber? When I opened the door, I saw. I already read this. I remember. Right there in that room. Found something. It was like an out of control emotion. Athena? That's exactly. What exactly are we looking at here? Oh, this? It's one of Widget's functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. Whoa, you mean that little thing can do all this? Pretty cool, huh? Here I thought it was just some kid's toy. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow of an error right here. See how sad it's brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is making her other emotion, or masking her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made a confused mess. So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are products of her rampant emotion? Yes, that's right. Her fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. Wow, okay. Just diagnose her in a few seconds. And the trauma isn't in Jinxie's case is fear. So she was and still is seeing ordinary objects as yokai? I have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Just immediately fix her problems. It's like, wow, everything's normal. Now let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai of the Wheel of Fire? You seem particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing the probe. Probe. Next, point out what's causing Jinxie out of control emotion. Finally, hit probe again to try and get the heart of the matter. Okay, let's give this a try. Press Q.
Got it!
Press E, not Q. Jinxie, what's the name of that yokai on a Wheel of Fire? That's Kasha, the yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the aldermans. It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that's she's mistaken for Akasha, the chandelier. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you possibly be mistaken this for Akasha?
Take that!
The light fixture? This one right here is a flame design. It's up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. Akasha you saw was just a light fixture. E! Info updated. Nice. That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that you got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest. Jinxie, what about this wall-like monster? That's no Rukabe. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray. That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. Eat. And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just a statue of one. Eat. Everything you thought was a lie, Jinxie. And look, there's just coffee cups, and this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue. I don't know what it was thinking. Broke a tray. She got a new one. You did it, Apollo. Her extreme fear is under control now. It was all just my eyes playing on tricks on me. There weren't any yokai after all. See, a clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. Just like we thought. There never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber. Right, there never really were any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact opposite of their original assertion. Wait, Jixie, what about Temataro? Was there any more there? There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Temataro or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now. You've gotta be joking. It's too many voices to do in one go. It's like, you can't have two people talk. Order in the court. I think we just dug our own grave. Allow me to push you on in, if that's the least I could do. It's the least. No, the feather. Hello, can I interrupt your freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jixie still hasn't remembered everything yet? Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have run and run an update. See Temataro. I was so scared when I entered the room. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. Info updated. Upstairs shore. Alderman dead on the table and Papa collapsed in a chair. Nobody else is there, and that includes Temataro. I mean, obviously she's sad, but she's also like surprised. But that's the only thing that's coming up. Like, both of these are equal for the first two. And then when it gets here, it's more surprised than anything. And then it's equal here. Equal here. And then it's more sad here. I'll still go with shock. Wait, what am I supposed to do? I pressed the wrong thing, didn't I? Try to find the emotions that contradict her statement. So if I find a contradictory emotion, I should point it out? That's right, but it's not just contradictory emotions you should look out for. You should also keep an eye out for sudden changes in her emotion intensity. Her emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move through from statement to statement. It's important to compare how the same emotion changes throughout the testimony. Contradictory emotions and changes in intensity. Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Got it!
This seems like an unnatural reaction. Really? Because I don't see it that way. So it isn't unexpected given her testimony? Hello, is anybody in there? Just not if you can hear me. Yes, there is someone at home, and that someone is going to try that again. I guess maybe this one?
Got it!
This seems like an unnatural reaction. No, it doesn't. What could it be then? If the other ones don't light up, the only thing I can see the difference is that here it's not as sad.
Got it!
Okay then. It was the other one. The amount of fear you felt was rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Did something have lessened your fear? Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage in that moment. You did? Where did it come from? Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt like as if she was there with me. Okay, I'll enter sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Ah, look. Different face. Apollo, the noise is all gone. Dixie seems to have remembered everything now. Woo! She's now pure. Bye-bye. A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could have that come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? Yes, there was, but, I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. An idea what could have given Jinxie that courage? Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if she saw something like that at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did your sudden burst of courage have anything to do with this?
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a nine-tails flower there at the scene, did you? The demon lawyer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a nine-tails flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it. You what? You can't remove evidence from the crime scene, says the guy who did the same thing. At least in a previous game he did. That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant. Sorry. It does seem to be some sort of case. I'm surprised she's not being held in contempt of court or being put in prison, because she literally withheld evidence, even if she didn't intentionally do it. But, you know, that's not always going to be the case if someone does it. Sometimes some people do it by accident and people are like, it's fine, just don't do it again, kind of deal. But, you know, most of the time they're not. Oh, looks like something slid out. It appears to be a key. Might I have a look, your baldness? This is none other than the master key to QB Manor. Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackwell? It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder. A master key? That went missing? I don't like the sound of that. Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence. That's a little melodramatic, don't you think? Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scant's constant possession. Ergo, she is the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl. And your point is? Until Jinxie Temma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. And there was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. I trust you have figured it out for yourself by now. Killer other than Mayor Tenderman himself would be utterly inconceivable. No!
Objection!
How could this happen? How is that an objection? The defense assistants will refrain from growling her frustrations. Athena, are you alright? I know Mayor Temma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do. This sucks. Sykes, Dono, allow me to put you out of your misery. Can I decline your offer? Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come running in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept. Great, now he's playing Simon Says with us. Well, he's not going to fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right into his trap. Now I suggest you take a mad dash for the courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed. Alright, I'll be back in 10.
Objection!
Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai. Apollo? Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to? Huh? Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. No, I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena. The court is waiting, Mr. Justice, though as it stands now. I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it. What? Never mind all the other cases you did. This one case is going to screw you up forever. Now, if you don't have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case... well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Apollo, do you have something more than the cause of steel, don't you? Not really, but we'll be fine. But... I've got absolutely nothing, but that's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't. Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Trying to think outside the box. Or in this case, inside the box. What a doozy that locked room is, too. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument? You bet I do! The real killer must have escaped from the locked room one way or another. Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dono. Time to do or die, literally. Do or die. Say yes. The defense will now explain how it would have been possible to escape the locked room. You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened? I'm fine. I just need to think this whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so? The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through, and there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent, it's up too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out. Yeah, there's got to be a way. Got to keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all of the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then whatever's left might just lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. Ah, screw it.
Take that!
And just how did the killer escape through there, Mr. Justice? Your reasoning skills seem as questionable as your proposed escape route. I wish I could escape right now. I'm afraid there's no escaping a penalty for your random guessing, Mr. Justice. Could I try that one again?
Take that!
Just gonna click
Take that!
Hallway door. Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out. Huh. It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key until Jinxie Temma came on the scene within that locked room. How would one exit the Fox Chamber and then locked it without a key? I should have seen this coming. Remember, Apollo, keep it simple. Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but... Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly. I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber hallway was locked was because... Can't lock it its own. They wouldn't be able to lock it from the outside because otherwise they would have seen him. Mayor Temma locked it himself after the killer fled the scene, just in case the killer decided to return. No, that's not... That's not what I wanted to say. That would explain the room was locked. Yes, I see. Then again, wouldn't Mayor Temmer have mentioned that himself? Oh, maybe it slipped his mind because of the blow to his head? I've already considered and investigated such possibilities. You have? The mayor's fingerprints were not found on the door or on its doorknob. The only fingerprints found belonged to the alderman. Ergo, the mayor did not so much as touch the door. Oops. Okay, then how about... I like that they're just like, yeah, just keep guessing until you get the right one. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door, then locked it out! Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked fox chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from the room is a blatant contradiction of fact. Entering the room before the locked door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction. If only we could explain both. Like how the key could have gotten inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside. Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackwell draws his sword. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight? What if someone threw it into the room from the outside? You know, something like go into the hallway, lock the door, and toss the key back through the window? That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There's a clip outside the fox chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Oh, right. I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window. Somewhere other than the window? Huh. Could the key have been tossed in through some other way other than the window? Do I have to do it at a specific point, or can I just click air duct?
Take that!
The air vent. Yes, the window may have been out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right. The fox chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside of the fox chamber. Then dropped the key into the room beyond, through the air vent inside the chamber. Huh. That's preposterous. Ooh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. You just made all this up. This makes no sense. But sure. Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. That's a bit mean. First, the real killer, disguised as Temataro, murdered the alderman in the fox chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside in the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do was to go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? Amazing. Even I could follow that. Judge seems really pleased. That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed like Temataro. And there was someone other than the bear and the alderman in that room. It looks like the lawyer's beating the jailbird prosecutor. Whoa, that was a total burnout. That's a massive forehead. I get to read that. Order, I say. What did they say? That massive forehead of theirs seems so much more attractive now. Wow, okay. No, proved a possible third party. I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence!
A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed its mark. Huh? Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it had left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz out right at the front door? That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the... Ow! But that's impossible without being spotted by the foyer's security camera, that is. The electric eye there would have captured a pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there is no sign of Temotaro anywhere in the security footage. What? Save for the foyer entrance, there is no other way to flee the manor, is there? I don't feel so good. Oh no, Thanos snapped his fingers.
Hold it!
Wait, I believe there is one way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. Hey, you're right.
Silence!
Huh. Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? Seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliff side of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one. No! Or no, we said it in French. Wait, so the killer didn't escape through the foyer window? What the heck, right? Huh. I suppose your next proposal is the killer sprouted wings and flew off into the sunset. That would mean the killer really was a yokai. If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer. Who's saying we don't? As completely far-fetched as it might be. What? You're saying you can prove that a killer could fly? We've done it before. You know, with the wizard. Granted, that was not really how he fly. That was a fake, but you get the point. Whoa, I thought I was the only one with the cords of steel. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Your Honor? What evidence do you have that the killer flew away?
Take that!
Take a look at this special edition paper. Temotaro real or flight of fancy? What does this article prove, Mr. Justice? The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in that photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window? Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting... Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer disguised as Temotaro flew away, you know, by some other way or another.
Silence!
It is your brain that has thrown the coop. That image is not but trick photography of some other form of artifice. Okay, then how about the Temotaro figure Mrs. Filch saw? I just vanished into thin air? No, there is a rational common sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai our trickster Tanuki witness never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye. She? I don't know where this is going one bit. Now, the fact that we know that yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at that time. Not good. Not good at all. You understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono? The falsified yokai remnants. And the appearance of the Tenmataro were the work of one individual. Santa Claus! And that individual was none other than Jinxie Tenma. Ah! No! Order! Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever. The little scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade. It would take time to get all that sorted. It would not just be, oh, my father killed someone? I guess I'll just dress up like this demon I don't like and do this whole thing. That would not just be, you know, an instant thing. You would have to set up for that. Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes the perfect sense to me. It doesn't! It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flaying out the window. Did you truly believe this could end any other way? Did we fall right into his trap? What do we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. If only we had one. Bailiff, seize her. It is time I interrogated her as the samurai of your word. Mayor Tenma? This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Tenma Taro's true identity is... Now, Mr. Mayor, it would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you had been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming around the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution will be willing to overlook a little yokai farce. Confess? That a defendant intends to confess? Wait. Apollo, Prosecutor Blackwell's up to his mind games again. Mayor Tenma, no, don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone. The real killer is... Mayor Tenma's going to confess unless we do something. But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away. Call. Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time of my return. I didn't mean to click that. Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for. Caw, foolish mortals. I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek. Mayor Tenma? Silence! I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold the return of the Demon King! What the... Demon King? Well then, I guess it's time for me to... take a vacation? The witness will, he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenma Taro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed, it is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? Ha! What nonsense. So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now? Caw. His body is now mine. So you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai this Jinxie Tenma and Phineas Filch saw, and the one captured in the newspaper photo, those were all you. The accursed power of these warding charms prevent me from revealing my true form. Your boldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, a confession by a yokai would be unprecedented. Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned. Huh? What? You claim the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party, the true killer. The one who escaped from the locked box chamber. But it was the accused all along. Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real in a manner of speaking. But the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma, and the yokai at the scene. That too was Mayor Tenma, or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place. How so, Prosecutor Blackwell? It seems I must spell it out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the alderman in the Fox Chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charms from the Forbidden Chamber's door. But then fell unconscious from the blow the alderman had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter Jinxie Tenma stumbled onto the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled the Fox Chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
When we arrived on the scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How's that possible if he was supposed to have flown out of the foyer window? Then what? Do you mean to say that main QB Manor Jinxie Temma was Temataro? Oh. Caw, that too is easily explained. Flew about for a time I did, but presently tired I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me unawares. In the Fox Chamber I knew no more. See, the pieces are still in place. Is Blackwell up to his tricks again? I don't know what to say. Is the defendant real live? That rumor about Mehmet Temur is true. I knew yokai were real. You mean he really did kill the alderman just so he could release Temataro? All of these people are stupid as hell. Order. Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai. It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty of baldness. This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Can yokai even be prosecuted under the legal system?
Objection!
Matt Temur is just pretending to be Temataro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature. Since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice but to...
Silence!
This is the dark age of the law where the defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning. Justice Dono.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation. How about I just promise not to succumb to anything? We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all. What's wrong with him? The prosecutor Blackwell, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that. What a devil was that? Fulbright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner? It seems you have found that quite shocking. It's my special jolt of justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave. You shall pay for this. I, Simon Blackwell, vow to... Your Honor, you need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Black will remain on his best behavior. A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective? Well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further investigations. This court is adjourned. Thank God. That was long. To be continued. Yes. I think that is the perfect time to stop. It's been 2 hours. It's definitely the best time to stop now. So, we shall continue with this next week, Tuesday. I get to have a break. My throat hurts. But it doesn't hurt. It's like, it's dry. Basically, it's, you know, when you start doing a voice for a long time, it starts to, like, make your voice, or throat, not chafe. I don't know the right word right now, but essentially, I need my rest because that was a long one. But we shall stop there for today. We'll pick this up next week's Tuesday. So thank you all for joining for today. I hope everyone enjoyed. We managed to get a lot done. So yay. We get to find out next time what happens with Temataro and not Temataro and the mayor and Blackwell, whether he gets to actually investigate or if he has to send Fulbright to do all of it. But yeah, we shall find out next time. So thank you all for watching today. Again, hope everyone enjoyed. As usual, like, follow, subscribe to the bell notifications over the next stream. If you like what I do and want to help support me, there's links to Patreon and tips in there as well. And if you do become a patron, you get your name added to the patron list here. where I give you a shout out at the end of every stream, like I do with Hiruru Akuni and the Swordmaster 37, where I thank you for the continued support, and I greatly appreciate you. And when we go to a court case, I'll allow you to be my defense for a little bit. I won't let you do it properly, because otherwise I'll go in prison. But yeah. But that's it for today. Hope everyone has a nice rest of the day. Thank you all for joining, and I'll see you all next time. So have a nice weekend. Bye, everyone. Bye, Rafa Sean. Bye, Swordmaster, if you're still here. Bye.